sanctions. Well, two deadlines came and went last year, and there's hope, however, that a third deadline set for the end of June, beginning of July, will be met. And for more on this, I'm joined now by Milad Jokar, political analyst specializing in Iranian affairs. Thank you for joining us here on the program. Firstly, I'd like to ask you, we've seen over the past 5 days lengthy meetings being held, including those between U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and his Iranian counterpart, Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif. Now, the negotiations, as we know, are difficult, but are we seeing real dialogue take place here?
There is indeed real dialogue. What seemed impossible last year is now becoming routine. We have seen this week Mohammad Javad Zarif and John Kerry walking together in the streets of Geneva, then meeting each other once again in Paris, and all this dialogue brings trust, and they can now work seriously. And I believe that both parties are convinced that the other part is serious about negotiations. Now, personally, I am optimistic that the progress is going on, and that it is possible to go for the signing a draft. Well, they're now working on a draft, and after it will be possible to define the contours of an agreement before the deadline.
I'd like to ask you about, if you will, the ambience around the negotiating table. Of course, we know very few details each time negotiations do take place, but Iran's role in the fight against the Islamic State organization, has it changed at all the dynamic in negotiations?
Well, this is indeed changing the situation, and it brings a sense of emergency to go for a final deal, because Iran no longer being isolated will change the dynamic in the region. And of course, Iran can be a main actor in fighting ISIS, because ISIS is a common threat to Iran and Western countries. This is why signing the deal is also necessary, but they're not mixing the two issues. One, we need to sign the deal, and these latest talks are being really focused on the negotiations, but everybody is mindful of the fact that, of course, there must be a deal pretty soon to unlock different regional security issues.
Milad Jokar, thank you for joining us here and sharing with us your perspective.
Thanks for having me.
Well, now U.S.